Hey, fellow freaksters, it's Tim from the Moratorium. Just here to remind you that if you enjoy what you hear, please like, share, and subscribe, then rinse and repeat. We're just a couple of small-town nerds trying to make sweet geek love to your ear holes, and we can use your support. Look for us on your favorite social media, or contact us at moviemoratorium@gmail.com. Now that that's out of the way, on with the shenanigans. Welcome to the Moratorium. I'm your host, Tim Kornman. Each week I will be joined by some esteemed, and I use that term loosely, movie watchers, and breaking down some of the weirdest and strangest films to ever, not necessarily, grace the big screen. These are the deep dive oddities and backroom bootlegs that appeal only to the die-hard film fans. So sit back and enjoy the ride into the dark vault of the movie Moratorium.
Are we all represented audiophonically?
I hope so.
We represent the Lollipop Guild.
Well, you maybe. I represent the Pville All-Stars. Big what up to my Prattville homies.
Is that? I thought you were talking about Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh.
I represent the Pabst Blue Ribbon All-Stars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Pabst is an American classic, but...
Fuck Heineken.
Whoa.
Exactly. Fuck Heineken. Pabst Blue Ribbon, baby.
All right. We are a rated G podcast now, guys.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
No, let's just start over again because everything that we have said so far has been filthy dirty.
Filthy dirty.
It's going to be a short podcast, y'all.
Filthy. Hashtag filthy.
Hashtag dirty. Dirty, dirty.
Dirty. I'm just thinking about my dirty underpants.
Oh.
Ew. Hello.
Way to bring it all down.
Mm-hmm. I like we weren't going to be talking my dirty underpants. Some part during the night, it was going to come up.
Is that a euphemism, or is that a?
Yeah, is that street code for something I don't know about?
That's a double entendre. Is what it is.
That was a threat. That's what it was.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm going to shit my pants, and there's nothing nobody can do about it.
Whoa. I was going to shit him. I was just going to shart him a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
like
that's
a magic marker.
At my age, it's going to
happen. A dry erase marker.
Don't trust a fart.
Oh, no. You gotta let him out very, very cautiously nowadays, huh?
Nowadays.
Oh, starting to get old. That's what happens.
My O-ring's blown out.
There's too much competitive fart flexing.
Compartmentive fart flexing? Is that what she said?
But competitive fart flexing.
Pretty sure that's a sport now, isn't it?
Yeah, like dwarf tossing.
No, well, they did have. I've seen the Japanese woodcuts of the fart competitions or fart battles.
Oh
yeah. I mean, it's right up there with the fisherman's wife, man.
Yeah, there's a big, just a big tattoo of just a Bushido dude just crop dusting everything. his
it's like tigers and dragons and a guy just ass blasting somebody in the face.
Yeah, well, they're into that over there.
Wow.
I don't know.
I've heard.
Yeah.
I
I do long to see the glorious vending machines for myself, but
panty vending machines.
Well, I guess those two.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
Oh, wait, do they have those? My God.
Yeah.
This is news to me.
It's it's always jammed. There's one in the thing, the.
Is it just that they're too polite to shake the machine, or?
Yeah, exactly.
What happens if you try to stick your arm up there? Do they have to hose it out every once in a while?
It'll be the tagline in the for the episode is you stick your arm up there. Should we has anyone ever said who we are or what we're doing?
Nope.
Oh my God.
Oh. Hey, welcome to the Moratorium. My name is Tim Kornman.
Are you sure?
Along with me today is Patty O'Brien.
Patty
and Mickey?
It's a TDY. P-A-T-D-Y.
It's kind of racist on a lot of different levels.
Well, I'm sure. I think we're all of Irish descent in some fashion, so I think we can handle it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So with me as always is
Jason Walker.
And we have a special guest today.
I'm your millionth customer, I know.
Yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah, that's me. Hey.
Introduce yourself already, you fucker.
Oh, exactly. I am motherfucker. Good evening, guys and ghouls. My name is Joe Lackey. I'll be special guest hosting for this.
I'll be on the ones and twos.
Super fun episode of Moratorium featuring Rawhead Rex.
Yeah, I think he practiced on that a little bit, maybe too much.
Yeah, you sound like pretty polished. Like, do you have a manager or something, or are you like a?
Well, I was trying to keep up with Tim. I've heard some of his intros. He's all, "Hi, this is Tim Kornman, 1340 KAB, Antonio Bay. Hope you guys are lusting after Adrienne Barbeau like I am, and picking up on all these John Carpenter references."
Mm-hmm. No pirate zombies can get me up here because I'm in the top of a lighthouse. But
I have these fantastic heels.
Oh, yeah, and I have huge cans.
Oh, yeah. It's basically like a bulletproof vest, really. You know?
Bulletproof breast?
Hey, guys
that's a
and
lot of
gals
padding
out there. I just have a giant couple of fun bags.
I would say that's one thing that all three of us would definitely have in common is we all love
breasts. We all have breasts at this age.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I was going to say we all love John Carpenter, and we all had a huge crush on Adrienne Barbeau.
I should really
slow
my roll.
Crush is kind of a weird. Oh, how do you say like
spank bank?
Yeah, but even more specific, like. She just has huge cans, and you would probably want to like utilize them in you know what I mean?
Well, I mean that was definitely what attracted me as a very young dude to her. Like I hadn't even hit puberty yet, and I was like, "Holy Christ!"
Swamp Thing, maybe.
Oh yeah,
or Escape from New York.
Swamp Thing for me, I think was.
I think me too.
The big one. And then, yeah, of course, I saw Escape from New York and everything else.
Yeah. And she's a great actress, too.
And a great actress to boot, really. I mean, because you watch her in something like The Fog, and she's great. Yeah. I mean, it's basically just her acting. I mean, it's just her in a room, for the whole thing. And another kind of interesting thing that I didn't realize until after watching that movie for God knows how many times, that the two main leads, Jamie Lee and Adrienne Barbeau, are never in a scene together once throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, she's kind of she's almost like Vanishing Point when she's actually reporting on what's going on, kind of deal,
right?
But like Cleavon Little in Vanishing Point, he's like the DJ, and he gives you like kind of updates on what's this guy that's like,
hey, here's the carnage that's currently happening
right
on I-95.
Yeah, I guess it's like exposition, but she doesn't really like. You're creeped out for her too, like you don't want it to.
Well, that is something that, like, if you're gonna have exposition in a film, then you might as well at least try and do it in a creative way,
right? Make it interesting.
Yeah, so that maybe at least it kind of plays into what you're trying to portray in the film.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but yeah, that movie's scary. And also Jamie Lee Curtis gets into bed with
Reel it in.
Tom Atkins. Is that his name? Tom Atkins?
Yeah. Supreme badass with a mustache, yeah.
Yeah, well, man, we're all over the place. This isn't even
Not even close to what we're doing
adjacent
today.
to
Hey,
what
we gotta
we're
have some. We gotta have some filler. You gotta
I
have a
know,
little
I know.
filler here.
Hey, I wanted to bring up here just looking up some Adrienne Barbeau shit. She has done a lot of voice at work for video games.
Word.
She was in Fallout 76.
Ha!
Oh, well,
she was
that's
the
awesome.
overseer.
Nice.
that sucks because that's the only Fallout game that I have never bought.
Is that it?
I heard it was really crappy, so I didn't get it.
There was God of War Ascension, Hitman Absolution, Halo 4. She's done a lot of voiceover work. God of War 3. So, very interesting shit. I know you guys might not be so aware of it, but I really loved her. There was an HBO series called Carnival. Yeah, absolutely loved that freaking show, man.
And also she's in, the new Creep Show, new Creep Show series.
Yeah,
I was just reading it there. She was.
I'm
in Grey
super
Matter.
excited to watch that. I have not just
You
yet.
haven't watched it?
No, not just
yet. A
yet.
couple of them are. Well, there's at least one that's a Stephen King story that I've always wanted to see. Like visually see.
See, represented like on the screen.
Yes, and even I'm trying not to be very even critical of it because I've just always wanted to, Stephen King, that's where he really like shines, is like short little 40 or 50 page short stories.
Just a nice tight little short story.
Just a nice creepy ass,
Nothing, doesn't need to dress it up.
Yeah, it's 40 or 50 pages or 4,000 to 5,000 pages. That's what it is.
You can, did you guys just crack a beer or am I the only one?
No, I just cracked one with you. It was like, I think we were in sync there.
I think we actually did it simultaneously.
Yeah, I think that's one of the next Olympic events coming up, isn't it? Synchronized beer drinking.
All right, well, let's get down to some business first.
Okay.
So, Joe Lackey here, right?
Jojo Bean.
You are a movie aficionado?
I do what I can. I mean, I would say that I appreciate movies. I've always sort of had a kind of love affair with just going to the movies and porn. Tentacle porn. We'll just throw that in there. Not all the time, just every once in a while.
All right, well, here's the question of the day, though. Top 5 favorite horror films, go.
Top 5 favorite horror films. Let's see.
Not to put you on the spot.
John Carpenter's The Thing. Aliens. I mean, that's
10 seconds.
Are we calibrating our tastes?
It's a hard. I mean, that's a hard choice,
So what's the best weird movie that
Let's go for some weird.
I don't know.
Obscure.
I've seen a lot of weird stuff. Like one of my favorite sort of weird movies. If you haven't been listening, I can tell you I've got a leaning towards a lot of the Asian anime, and even I like a lot of the Tokyo Shock stuff too, because it's just so insanely over the top. I mean, it's like a Gwar movie, but in Japanese. So it's
monsters
great.
And
blood.
I
mean, it's like just insane stuff. But I did really enjoy like Tokyo Gore Police. It's a good flick. It's fun.
Sure.
I really enjoyed The Machine Girl, which it looks like that's totally where I guess Robert Rodriguez totally stole his shtick for Planet Terror.
But there's also like Meatball Machine and
and like Tetsuo the Bullet Man. I mean, there's tons and tons and tons. Yeah. Oh, and we got to say it, Ricky O.
Yeah, of course. Ricky O will be covered on this podcast. Just count on it.
Oh, that's definitely a tease right there.
Oh,
Mr. Walker.
It's a
that's a Tokyo Shock classic, really. I mean,
it's a classic, is what I'm.
Because all you have to say to like anybody who's seen it, you say Ricky O, and they go, "Oh," they just immediately conjure that visual of him crushing the guy's head. You know, it's like they totally had like a paper mache head and he just like crushes it like a watermelon in his hands.
Exactly. Like a pinata. His head's like a pinata.
Like, really, I'm sad that candy didn't come out at that point. But
well, candy's just depends on your taste, right?
Well, yeah. And I think they were in prison at the time, so probably not a lot of candy going around.
They had a lot of spare time in prison. Like they were out okay, but that's for another
time. So I will say this. You know, I'm not big into Clive Barker. Like,
really?
I mean, well, I always liked the original Hellraiser film, and then
he directed that movie, by the way.
Yeah,
which is amazing.
You know, as I was kind of researching into Rawhead Rex here for this, is that, so I guess he wrote the story, and then he also wrote the screenplay, but at the same time, he was, I guess, not too happy about the way that they depicted Rex.
Right.
Or Rawhead, I should say.
Yes. His name is Robert Head Rex. Robert hyphen. There's a hyphen.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. I don't know how to say it.
Well,
but there's a hyphen in there.
So that's Christian name.
Robert Head Rex.
So yeah, from what I gather, I guess Clive Barker's original description of the creature was basically a phallus with teeth.
So Dick Head Rex.
Yes.
Yeah. After I learned that, for some reason, I went into this weird, like, I don't know,
dark
mental,
web.
this dark mental place of like where I was trying to imagine, like, okay, well, if you did that, then you're just gonna have like a giant floppy dong, like terrorizing the Irish countryside, like
like it does daily there. I'm sure.
Anybody trying to like fight or something when their stuff is out. That is weird.
I mean, is it gonna walk around like with its balls, like shuffling around like geisha, or would it like inchworm around? I don't know.
But you've read the original story, right, Jason?
Did you read the original story?
I have read the original story about 20 times because it's in the Books of Blood, and that's just, I'm intimate with all that stuff. He's a weirdo, Clive Barker.
No, and I love the guy's, you know, just weird mentality, but like, you know, I can definitely tell he had a vision, I guess, specifically for like Rawhead Rex, and that didn't really come through in the filmmaking process, and so that's why he sort of took a lot more control whenever they went to do Hellraiser. He was like, all right, you guys aren't going to fuck this up.
Yes, it's his singular vision, and he's the only one that can execute it. That makes sense to me, dude.
Before Rawhead Rex came out, before it was produced, he had 3 other credits on his list, all right? So he did, we talked about Salome and the Forbidden. Those were short films, but the only feature-length film he had before Rawhead Rex was called Underworld, or as we know, also Transmutations.
Yes.
Right? And I mean, that box was prominent in the video store. I saw it all the time.
Yes, and to be sure, we're talking about George Pavlou.
He directed Transmutations, but also came back for Rawhead Rex. And you'd think that if they had already worked together in one film, that he would have been happy with how Pavlou, but I guess it didn't go very well at all. So his next thing was definitely straight into Hellraiser.
I love the box art for Rawhead Rex, you know, where it's his face and his mouth is like kind of a sort of cathedral thing. You know what I'm talking about?
The one we're watching has his arm, you know, like he's at a freaking concert.
Yeah, he's he's doing like his best Bruce Springsteen kind of.
Of course, and then he stays and like sweeps up and like he's the hardest working monster in music.
So me personally, I don't know if the creature design isn't necessarily, you know, bad, but I think that a lot of the lighting throughout the movie doesn't necessarily help.
Benefit.
Now, we watched a few films where it seemed like it was darker to cover up the fact that makeup effects weren't so good. This one was actually pretty well lit on the monster's face. They wanted you to see it right away.
Yeah, and that was kind of the thing. Like, they do sort of a really early intro for the creature, you know, with him busting out.
When he busts out from the giant stone penis that's in the middle of some guy's
Stone Phallus. That's Stone Phallus, Ireland. Didn't you know that?
Yeah.
I've read the story a million times. I really like the story, and it really leaves a lot open to, you're using your imagination to kind of draw the line, figure out what this guy looks like and what he's doing. But that part, I was just like, and in the movie, it's the same as the short story. It's like, I've always meant to move that giant stone penis out of my pasture, and I got a couple of days off. I'm just going to go over there and maybe invite some of my friends who will eventually just call me an idiot for trying to.
I'll just call up Patty and Mickey, and we'll just haul that thing out with the tractor, eh? Just pull it out, and we'll head on down to the pub for a little bit after.
Yeah, exactly. It's like King of the Hill when he's going stumping and stuff. You can get that thing out. There's a way to get that thing out of there.
See, I'm just so glad that I'm not going to be the one that's be called down for doing kind of a derivative of dialect here.
Racist.
Oh, I'll be doing it all day, sir. So you have to try hard not to break into a Scottish accent now. You got to keep it Irish now.
Can we just let Joe do it, and then we won't get any of the...
So we open on the film, our main guy, David Dukes, and his family.
Oh, man.
Are they driving into this town, and he's doing research. This is very reminiscent of a film we just watched.
Yes. That is a strange occupation that apparently... he's doing okay.
To be fair, like, as far as the sort of just the concept or whatever of what he's writing a book about.
He's a stained glass investigator.
No, I mean, if you listen to whenever he's talking to the father, old coot, about sacred sites that are
Declan.
Nah, Declan's the crazy old fucker.
Yes.
But he's actually talking to the priest about, like, there are these sacred sites that have been holy, like, throughout human history, and we just keep building, churches on top of old churches. Exactly. And, it's
Christianizing it.
Well, even in, like, Jerusalem, it's like supposedly the Temple of Jerusalem, that David built, it was, built upon and then built upon and built upon, and then, so.
Yeah, I do love that.
Persistent holiness, there's just sort of that, certain places around the world that people do have, like, this is a sacred place.
Exactly.
You don't have to be from there to even feel it. I did like the whole idea of the sacred sites and stuff like that, and it definitely kind of reminded me of the Slain comics.
Yes. Oh my God. 2000 AD.
Well, I think if they had gone kind of in that sort of direction with some of that, because they sort of imply that, in a weird general sense, as far as like the goddess figure. Oh, spoiler.
Pagan ideology.
The goddess figure at the end killing Rawhead Rex here.
Yes.
Like, there's the sun god who's basically at the whim of the goddess. And I think they even sort of subtly, drop the maiden mother crone sort of thing throughout the film.
Sort of a Mary type thing.
The forms of the goddess, as far as like maiden mother crone, or maiden matron crone, however you want to.
I forgot what movie we were talking about for a second, but yeah.
Later on, as things sort of progress,
as the monster is kind of
he's going about, wreaking havoc and stuff,
and killing young kids.
Yeah, but he comes across the the pregnant
Napping
woman
in the woods.
That nap scene was wonderful.
There's
Well lit.
yeah.
Yeah. That's good. I'm just going to take a little, you know what? I've had a long day and I'm just going to this is all about me. You know, it occurs to me that I just have the titles are still going on my movie.
Oh.
Like I haven't even started watching the movie yet.
Well, that's just normal.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to put this in there into the overall discussion that I've had a subscription to Fangoria when this movie came out, and I was so pumped that this was coming out, you know?
Did this have a theatrical release?
I can't imagine that it was at the theaters. I don't think so. All I know is that it came out on VHS.
I believe that to be true, too.
Michael Bradfield and I probably watched this movie a couple of times. I hope he will eventually be on here talking about something.
Yeah, and make a better showing than I do.
We're not going to get our dicks out. And...
Shit, I thought I invited him over here for something.
I feel robbed, man.
What does pissing contest mean?
I don't
if
know.
You can pee farther than the other guy? Anyway, that's all up in the air.
I wanted to bring this up though, because I was reading here. This is just the Wikipedia on Rawhead Rex itself. That the film was released and limited by the U.S. by Empire Pictures in 1987. What did we not say? The Empire was part of Charles Band's thing?
You know, one of the things that I thought was interesting that as I was sort of researching about this too was that I guess David Prowse, they approached him to play Rawhead Rex.
So talking about Chewbacca was he was the one that was.
Oh, did they offer it to Peter Mayhew?
Yeah, they offered it to Peter Mayhew.
Oh,
okay.
But instead, they found this guy who's never acted in anything or anything since, by the name of Heinrich von Schellendorf. And Heinrich von Schellendorf, his IMDb picture is Rawhead Rex because it's all he has under it. And I believe I was reading he was 6'11".
Yeah.
Which he doesn't look that big in the movie. He
really
doesn't look like. They show his feet a lot, and you're like, wow, those are obviously size 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
Irish Nikes. So.
Yeah, he doesn't look massive. I mean, especially, I guess, whenever he's, tipping over a caravan or whatever.
Trailing.
Sure, he looks pretty huge.
Man, that scene is scary.
I mean, even with the costume, he doesn't look that, towering necessarily. I mean, yeah, he's tall, but I mean, he doesn't necessarily come off that way.
Everybody's kind of argument against this movie, I think, is what they've settled on as the creature.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't look great. I mean, he looks great.
He looks kind of like a generic Gwar villain.
Yes, exactly. Very Gwar.
I love Gwar, dude. That's my jam, but...
Yeah. His wiener was sticking out and just spurting things everywhere.
Yeah, he looks like he should be playing second banana to Odorous. I mean, I'm just being real here.
Yeah, of course.
So let's go back to this movie to say that our guy, David Dukes...
The credits are still rolling.
But our guy, David Dukes, is driving to this church that has a prominent stained glass window of Rawhead Rex.
Let's back up just a little bit.
Oh.
I'm watching him drive and smoke, okay?
Oh, okay. That's important. What kind of cigarettes is he smoking?
They're Marlboro Reds.
Yeah, they are. Marlboro Reds. And right next to that pack of Marlboro Reds is a book that says...
Ibon?
I Heart...
New York?
Irish stained glass. Stained glass. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Are we still just 10 minutes into this movie?
No, because you made me back up to the credits to see what magazine he had next to his Marlboro Reds. Damn.
God, almost an hour into tape and you're still talking about the dude's Marlboros, bro.
Well, that's kind of how it works out. Okay, so let's fast forward.
We see the stained glass window of Rawhead Rex with the sunlight going through his eyes, which I think is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think that they should have a monster.
Oh, no, not a demon in the church window? You don't like that?
If you look at it, it is sort of the demon being vanquished.
In a really specific way.
Right. That was something that I was kind of curious. I was like, this guy's got a pretty decent camera throughout, and then all of a sudden he gets to the church and he starts snapping Polaroids. I'm like,
right. Wait a minute, dude. Nobody's going to accept this stuff.
And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. Polaroids are going to come into play later. It's a plot device. I got it. Okay. Yeah. See, he's doing a little Da Vinci Code there. He's got to see this piece. It's supposed to go here.
Our guy that's out there trying to dig out this phallus, this pasture phallus.
Yeah. And it's really like...
His buddies are like, yeah, fuck it. I'm going home.
They're like, dude, we've been over here all day.
Mm-hmm. And the big guy was like, my dinner's probably on the table.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not surprised you're missing a meal there, Sonny boy.
They go home and he's like, I am going to stay out here and fight this giant phallus.
I'll wrestle it to the ground.
Now, is the Irish land filled with stone phallus?
That's the question, is like...
Obelisk, I think, is maybe more...
oh, yeah, maybe.
I mean, but whenever you get down to it, an obelisk is just a giant stone dick. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. It's been 10 years. I've been looking at this giant fucking stone dick the whole time. I'm going to get it out of there.
I cannot plant my crops around this thing one more year.
Like, this is a huge...
I'm just trying to plant some soybeans, and they got this big concrete dick in the way.
Yeah.
Every time.
Oh, there's writing at the bottom of it, but...
I think that was part of... like, whenever I started watching this the first time, especially, I was like, okay, so it's like a giant concrete lump of shit out in some poor dude's yard. But
there's some symbols down at the bottom, but let's not go into that.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense that those would still be there. Like, there's nothing else on the thing, really.
Have you read the story?
No.
Okay. Either one of you guys have?
No.
Like I said, I'm really new to this one.
Okay.
Before this, it was the first time that I had ever watched this movie, and I watched it a couple times, and I'm still perplexed. Honestly, I have a lot of questions, sir.
I just want you guys to know that when this movie is compared to the short story, there's a scene coming up where the dad gets a little, he's perturbed. I just wanted you guys to know that the only thing that is really different between the story and this is how they visually portray Rawhead Rex. Because the Rawhead Rex in the story is crazy. I mean, just total nightmare fuel.
We have a mythos around this creature that's somewhat defined, but not really. And I do think that is sort of just in general horror movie fashion that they're like, we're going to leave, the powers and explanations for shit just sort of open-ended. So it's like you interpret it how you want. That's how it's supposed to go.
Kind of like Jeepers Creepers. I love it that they don't explain what the monster is,
where he came from, why does he do shit, why does he have a car, why does he have a personalized license plate for that matter?
Who changes the oil in that car?
Did he go down to the DMV to get a license plate, that says beating you? I mean, did he just have to luck into a shitty old truck that had that license plate or what? I mean,
I don't know.
There's so many questions. Sorry.
But when you think about this movie, it is a monster movie, right?
Yeah.
And we all agree that it is when you see that thing, it is meant to, when he starts shaking the fucking trailer around and shit, that is really scary.
Yeah.
Even though he is kind of goofy looking.
just sort of the overall arcing theme of the whole movie, like especially whenever I get to the end, it has a sort of like classic Universal Frankenstein burning down the windmill, kind of burying the beast kind of sort of ending there.
Yep. And it's also a little bit like Bram Stoker, it's a little bit like Dracula.
They do sort of bring in kind of a gothic ending.
Yeah, there's a very specific way in which he was buried, and
But those stories actually gave you kind of a backstory on why he was buried that way. We don't get that in this film. We get a novelesque with some writing down at the bottom.
Yeah, big wiener.
Once the Declan priest guy, once he becomes possessed and everything, what a fucking maniac too, dude.
That actor,
he delivers my favorite line of the film, dude.
He is God. He's a dick before the.
That's what's crazy is that he's a total fucking douchebag before he gets possessed, and then after he gets possessed, he's like, "Oh, now I've got the power of the devil behind me."
I like to think about that as if he is already kind of, because he seems like someone who is for sure unhinged, but like. I love it that he is so ready for some other,
He's quick to grasp at another.
Oh, what flavor of Kool-Aid are we drinking? Awesome. Let's do it. Black cherry? Cool.
Spray it right into my mouth. That might be the most shocking part of the movie. I'm not sure. But Declan being baptized by Rawhead Rex is it's up there, as one of the weirder scenes that I've ever seen.
But he introduces himself as the Virgin.
I thought it was the Verger.
The Verger?
It's a term. Yeah, so
now I thought he was the Virgin.
Catholic term.
Oh, yeah, it's like one of those...
I should have had closed captioning on. Because I'm like, I feel sorry for him already.
That's what I'm saying. I had to watch this movie a couple of times so I could be like, did I see what I fucking saw? The first time I watched this, just whenever Rex comes out of the ground.
Yes.
As he comes out of the ground, I had to watch that like 4 times. Mm-hmm. Like Rex pops out of the ground. I'm like, hang on a tick. Rewind. Play it again. Okay, hold on a sec. Rewind. Play it again. Okay, but hold on. And played it one more time. I was like, yeah, I saw what I saw.
Are you speaking of just the kind of slightly bad visual effects?
He totally busts out of the ground like...
Yeah, it's not great. A video toaster or something.
Like he's doing his best Incredible Hulk, and there's lightning and stuff, and it's a little much. Like I said, the lighting and the makeup, I'm not going to really sweat a lot of this because at the same time, this movie was still fun in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So let's get into this real quick. I wanted to share this because it's a perfect storm because there's a storm coming in at the same time that he's breaking the phallus down.
His friends are pretty...
They're lame.
Yeah, they're like...
I'll drive the tractor. I'll tie the rope. You push on that thing.
Oh, did this take more than 5 minutes? Sorry. I gotta go.
Oh, I've got to go home and eat like...
third lunch.
The Man U game's on, brother. Sorry, gotta go.
Well, need to get some new friends, I guess. But he does have a giant penis in the middle. And I think it's so weird that they don't address that at all. It's like, or do they? Do they say something at least?
I mean, isn't there like a historical society that should be out there like protesting him taking it down and something?
For sure.
Like, this is an ancient statue. How dare you take it down? This is a front to our forefathers.
When he digs down further, there's actually like
some sort of
words
writing
like carved into the
It belongs in a museum.
Exactly. Oh man. Oh. All right. As long as Dan Brown's not going to come. Okay, David Dukes at the beginning of this movie, his cardigan is so aggressive. Like, it looks like his grandma, right as he was getting ready to walk out of that, he was like, okay, I'm fine. I'm going to go investigate these stained glass windows.
With the scarf, though, he's got like a Rick Steves kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He
Rick
looks.
Steves?
Yeah.
Do you mean the NPR?
Yeah, the guy who travels around through Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick Steves.
He does kind of have a Rick Steves vibe. So who is paying him to review stained glass windows?
Well, I think he's like writing a book about sacred places.
And looking at where he's out, I thought he was out in a graveyard that's outside of this church. It's not necessarily a graveyard because these stones that are out there, they may be grave markers, but they are ancient with different markings on these stones.
More of like a old world, like prehistoric type cut to them. You know, they have the different designs. It's not.
And it looks like it's below the horizon. If you see, it looks like it may have been the grounds may have been excavated to show these stones in their original setting. I don't know. I thought it was a graveyard.
This movie begins when you're watching him, like, you know, kind of driving around Ireland or whatever. It feels a lot like The Wicker Man, you know, where he's the only one that's not in on, you know, the big thing. Kind of like Dead and Buried too, also.
But at the same time, you do have all the local cops, especially whenever they come across the farmhouse a little later. You know, it's like.
We have not even started talking about the movie yet.
I wanted to touch base with our audience here. If you're still listening, we're still in the credits.
But we're going to fix that in post, kids.
I'm looking at supervising editor Andy Horvich.
I just thought of this, though. So we saw that David Dukes is taking pictures in this, what I thought was a graveyard, which kind of looks like the top or the penile head of this phallus in the field.
Phallus in the field? Is that where you want to end that?
Phallus in the field? Is that not a Faulkner story?
I don't know. I can't imagine that.
Anyway, but it just dawned on me that maybe these stones that he sees in what I thought was the graveyard could be these same phallus stones, this phallic stone.
No, it's a graveyard.
No? But this is a graveyard, is it not? It has a dead demon under it.
That's a good connection, though, as far as that, like, are there multiple demons that are all buried underneath there? Or are all those, like, good guys buried under there that'll fight, like, future demons that may be resurrected?
Do we build a church on it to keep said demons in place?
Yeah.
Yes, we should.
Maybe they have those stones there to help to consecrate that ground.
Could be.
Yeah, sure. I know I asked this earlier, but have either of you read the story before?
No.
Okay, because I can't explain how, like, Rawhead discovers that fire, he can use that to his advantage, you know?
Which would have been a fruitful connection there towards the end, whenever Declan lights a bunch of cops on fire, but, you know.
Yes, exactly.
Whatever.
Holy shit. All right. I'm just going to quit talking. But I guess what I was trying to say is that this is such a fucking cool premise for a movie because this monster is in the woods and he's just like going back and forth, like trying to like eat people, eat animals, you know, and the fact that they have the local government kind of on watch for this thing, you know. I love it when the fucking local people get, you know,
torches and pitchforks time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, fuck this guy and his shitty outfit. I don't care how tall a motherfucker is. I'm going to go kick him in the balls and talk shit about his haircut.
I like the militia thing. Nightbreed is also kind of a, militia kind of like, we're going to go out there and, stomp out the...
Well, but something interesting that popped into my brain while I was...
Your brain popped?
Yeah. You know, as they're dealing with the cops throughout this movie, and you see the like detective guys, and they actually have like a shoulder holster, like sidearm and stuff. And I'm like,
for sure.
I mean, detectives even carry a sidearm. I mean, they bust out with rifles and stuff later, which, you know, it's like I remember American Werewolf in London, you know, like
they had that sticks.
We need to call in the National Guard because they actually have guns. So get them on the horn, dude.
Yeah, that guy's head rolls down the fucking.
God, that whole scene at Piccadilly is just insanely glorious.
Oh my God,
with just blood and
maybe the best scene of any movie ever.
I
love
close.
watching that fucking head roll down.
Yeah, just bouncing right off of a hood of a car. It's fucking gorgeous.
I have not watched 2 seconds of this movie.
All right. Well, let's get to the point where he actually...
The big dick fell over.
The big dick fell over. At the same time, he got electrocuted by lightning. At the same time, a chick who was playing with flowers at the church gets her hand burnt because upon the altar where she was placing the flowers is where we find out later is the key to killing Rawhead Rex.
They have a stained glass Rawhead Rex in the
church, yeah,
with laser beam eyes. Freaking laser beams, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's like all the cats that they have are just like constantly like.
They just keep finding burnt up cats on the altar.
Yeah, it's like
Reverend Coots like, Declan, we've got another one. Clear that bastard off.
I thought it was just a deadly demonic doily. Really, that's where I was headed.
Like an evil doily.
It's been crocheted by Satan himself.
Satan. All I want to say is that we're tiptoeing into racism right now because we're really doing like Declan's voice and stuff.
But honestly, fuck Declan because he's a bit of a douchebag. So, I mean...
Declan turns out to be just the...
Kool-Aid drinker number one, man. I mean...
Oh my God. He's like...
Like I said, he delivers my favorite line of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Where he's
he is God!
Don't you know what he'll do to you? And he says, kill me, I hope.
Oh my God, dude.
Full on Kool-Aid devotion, baby.
Yeah.
That's it. And I mean, he gets orgasmic as he gets murdered.
Yeah.
So,
he's very orgasmic.
It's right up there with Galaxy of Terror.
Oh my God. I have this movie paused. Looking at the stained glass of Rawhead Rex being trapped, you know, that is the coolest fucking thing I think I've ever seen. I need a tattoo of that. Have we already talked about what they chose as, makeup for this?
Like I said, I love Gwar, but he looks kind of like generic Gwar villain. But I mean, and that was something else about the costume in general, I think. That they said that it was basically like a skin of latex, and then I guess they just sort of made an outfit.
He has kind of like I wouldn't know how to describe it, but like
it looks like he's skinned victims and then just sort of piecemeal stitched together, scrabbled together.
You think he's like a Leatherface?
Yeah, that's sort of the impression that I take from.
I love this movie, right? That's the reason I picked it, right?
You picked it.
Do you remember why I picked it? Did I say
because I did Caveman and you had to retaliate?
Make something as crappy as you did.
Really? I like Caveman.
Where were you last week when we just avoided talking about it?
You should have done the podcast with him because I did not like it.
What's the matter? You don't like Ringo Starr? Or?
It was a 2-hour podcast that we avoided talking about the movie for an hour and 57 minutes.
Wow.
We talked more about Mr. Belvedere sitting on his balls than we did about the actual movie.
So it's going about like this one does?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Which is sad because you actually enjoy this. Favorite scene then? What is your...
Well, let's get to the favorite scene.
Okay, my favorite scene is when...
Let's just kind of let things go on.
Yeah, because roll. I don't know where you guys are. Declan is still a good guy at this point.
Well, singing Hallelujah, Hallelujah.
Oh my God. David Dukes is just a stained glass picture taker.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah.
He's like a millionaire or something.
But he brought his family on this trip.
These dudes that are trying to figure out if they're going to help him get that giant thing, they are basically like,
you stay until the job's done.
And all his friends are like, I'm going to go grab a pint. And he's like, okay.
I think I've got some haggis or shepherd's pie on the table.
I'm going to go flip the haggis.
Wife's been nagging me about putting a new fence on the sheep pen, so...
I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to go to the bar.
Yeah, see right here. But I'm not your man. I'm the virgin.
No, verger.
It says virgin in the closed caption.
Yeah, closed captions are
I'm
for
just
shit
telling you.
sometimes. I mean...
Man, I can't believe I picked this movie because it's pretty boring. Like...
I know, it's been entertaining for the last 9 minutes that we've been watching it.
Okay, well, I hit play on mine, so I'm to the point where the women with their hair pulled up and stuff are like talking about the thing, and
Oh, it just like burnt my hand. I don't know
Yeah.
what happened. These were devil flowers I was messing with.
If his grandma wore that same cardigan and he saw her, he'd be like, Grandma, that's way too much cardigan.
He's over cardiganed.
Oh my God. He's so over cardiganed at this point. This movie doesn't really like slide right along, and
No, it drags like a pair of balls through broken glass, but,
well, it's a real like Dan Brown kind of thing where Rawhead is in the stained glass, I mean, if they had just explained that just a little bit more.
Right. Well, he tries to decipher the words.
Well, they talk about like they jigsawed together all the stained glass.
Mhm.
Right.
The church had been rebuilt, multiple times, and they tried to
Yeah.
jigsaw together the windows. And he's like, that's where he has his little, Da Vinci Code moment where he's like, see, this
Right.
piece goes here.
But this is like 10 years before Dan Brown. It wasn't Clive Barker either, because the only thing in his story is like...
General legend of a big stone dick out in the middle of a field.
Exactly.
With a demon buried under it, shaped like a giant dick with teeth.
Exactly.
Which I still want to know. How the fuck does a giant dick with teeth get around?
Over hammy, performance of the Declan. Can anybody get me his name? Because he has his own little altered states kind of thing in the middle of this.
I think he definitely displays the weird, twisted possession by
For sure.
Rawhead Rex better than anybody else. Like,
Yeah.
because
No,
later
he's
on,
perfect.
the pregnant lady, I think she gets sort of somewhat possessed.
Yeah.
And in my initial watching, I thought that maybe there was going to be that moment, kind of like in Alien versus Predator, where he realizes, Lance Henriksen's character is like, oh, you got cancer. Fuck you, I ain't gonna.
Yeah.
I don't need to fight you. And then, I thought that maybe there would be that moment where he was like, oh, you're a mother. And in that weird pagan reverence, he would be like, okay, you're cool. I'm not going to fuck with you. You're a pregnant mom, so.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
At the same time, he does, but he doesn't. He wounds her, and then he possesses her, and then I think really the only reference beyond that is they say that she won't talk.
All right.
She won't talk about her experience or something. But
it's a Clive Barker short story, so it's like Stephen King times a billion.
No, I get that as far as Stephen King has written God knows how many stories, and how many of them have been adapted to screen in one way or another. Yeah. And how often are they close? Fucking never, dude. Sometimes they get a little bit.
So get this though, because we just had David Dukes talk to the Virgin.
Yes.
And
thank God that you're on track, because I don't know if I can.
Somebody Google Verger.
So he sent him off to go see the old man Coot, the old Coot. I think that Declan knew something was up, because you have this weird scene where Declan looks at the altar,
Yes,
where the woman burned her hand on the evil doily.
evil doily.
But he does this slow walk towards this altar.
Yes,
and he places his hand over it, and he starts shaking, and he knows because when he presses down on it, he starts screaming, but then he has like a vision.
He gets predator vision.
It's a predator vision, or is it like American Werewolf in London, where he's like seeing himself running through the woods?
Well, or he sees what Rex sees.
Yeah.
right. Which has been the case so far.
So did Rex kill the farmer that helped him escape?
Hold on. Bring it up real quick. I got the kill count.
Oh, he's got a kill count.
I want to say he did.
So, yes. Looks like if he is Tom Guerin or the farmer, then yes, he got killed.
But off camera.
So just,
Conveniently off camera.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Slapped him. And it's like half his face came off or something. That's pretty cool. Are you guys watching where the guy actually goes to the house and everything's all turned over? I've never seen this. This must be the remastered.
Or it's the part you just don't remember seeing because you've been drinking?
Yeah, maybe. All I typed in was amateur Rawhead Rex bigtits.com. I don't know what. It was just a bunch of Sonic the Hedgehog /fic.
I would have a very close friend who's ready and
really like that's his thing.
A good friend who's ready and savvy enough to clear your browser history whenever you go to pass off this mortal coil, sir.
Well, my browser history is forever doomed.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm watching right now is the guy going up there, and his sister is like insane. I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
Oh, you're talking about the pregnant chick?
Exactly, the pregnant chick. But there's a scene, like I remember the scene of the pregnant chick where Rawhead Rex goes in there.
Oh, is it when the cops show up and they see that the windows are broken out and they go through?
Yeah.
It's like, must have been like 7 or 8 dudes busting up in this place.
Right.
And it's like, okay.
The guy with the hat just put his finger in some poop, and I don't think it was even not related to what we're doing. It's like emu poop. And then the guy's like, yeah, we've got a
rogue emu here.
there's a real psycho out there. He's killing plants and cows. And everybody's like, yeah, we just saw him. He's a giant fucking monster. Go get him.
So we're watching where there's pregnant ladies making the meat pie.
Meat pie.
It's like a shepherd's pie or something.
Yeah.
The other guy comes walking up to their barn or whatever.
So it looks like
the
Rawhead
gate's shredded
the barn door.
Yeah, he shredded that. And then there's a big stack of like crates and such inside, right? So you had a bunch of crates. A bunch of crates.
Crates? Are you saying like crates?
Crates.
Rawhead Rex just kind of like, I guess sidestepped back into all these crates or whatever, just so he would have this awesome pop-out moment.
I'm taking a nap back here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's like a big pile of shit stacked up here, and it's like, how the fuck did he get back there without...
You got a good point.
I mean, did he just like stack a bunch of stuff in front of himself to be like, oh, this is going to be cool whenever I'm going to pop out and then all this stuff's going to fall over. It's going to be cool. It's going to look awesome. Ha-ha! Gotcha.
And we get one of the first real kills. We get to see Rawhead Rex just grab this guy, throw him against the wall, and just go after his neck.
Yeah.
Okay, the chick, the woman who's pregnant, was not making a shepherd's pie. That was a bowl of lettuce and sliced carrots that she put raw beef on top of.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm wondering what the fuck it is she's making. I don't know if it's like some Irish dish. I'm
sure Rawhead Rex would be like,
raw meat on salad. That's me jam, baby.
That's what he sounds like to you.
Well,
I guess. I don't know.
That's number 2 on the menu on the combo meal.
It's somewhere between Irish, Scottish, and Australian.
Can I kind of lay some knowledge on you guys?
Uh-oh.
I bet he's going back to Saved by the Bell, like fanfic.
Remember that time that Jesse Spano was taking a bunch of diet pills?
I do remember that.
Oh
my God.
We all remember.
Dude. So, Rawhead Rex costume. Oh my God.
Yeah, like I said, whenever I was researching into it, they basically, from what I gathered, they just made like a latex skin. And then just sort of like, it's a skin of shredded latex they just made into clothes for this guy.
Yes,
that's it.
Exactly.
And he's got the big like gorilla suit chest busting out of it.
You saw that scene earlier where it just shows his hand and his nails actually extend, you know?
Yes. That's when he goes after this pregnant chick.
I have never seen any of these scenes before. It must be the
fog of alcohol?
Maybe. I don't know.
No, I watched this movie myself a couple of times and I have the same issue. Well, to be fair, there's a lot of wacky shit going on in this movie. I mean,
there's always an LED light behind his eyes. It's not great.
He's downstairs, like the pregnant lady's, he's just destroying her fucking kitchen. Oh my God, there goes the spaghetti all over the floor.
So we're at the scene where David Dukes and his wife were just walking down the sidewalk, and they decided to get hot and heavy and start kissing. He says she has dirty eyes. By the way, you have very dirty eyes.
Dirty eyes. And then here comes the old Irish crone to, like, ahem.
Yeah, there's a woman with a red cloak. This was in the trivia of IMDb. Because there's the woman in the red cloak kind of just waits for them to finish to walk on the sidewalk. She doesn't go around them.
It's a little out of place. Like, guy and his wife are like,
they're just making out.
Trying to get a knob job in the forest.
Just a little snogging in the street, and here comes this old lady who's like, ugh.
I read in the IMDb trivia that the woman in the red cloak was kind of an homage to
Don't Look Now.
Exactly. We talked about that just recently.
Yeah.
That was a Donald Sutherland film. Yeah. So who's this guy that's going to check on this pregnant chick?
David Dukes.
It's not him.
That's a constable. And she's gone nuts. She's gone batty.
Again, like I was talking about, the generalized powers that
Rawhead has.
The big bad has.
Yes.
He's able to possess people.
He's kind of a Heaven's Gate type of thing, like a cult.
It's not like Rawhead Rex disappears and he, enters them like movie Fallen or something like that,
yeah.
Like the spirit actually jumps from body to body or something like that. It's more like, hey, I'm just going to give you the Jonestown Kool-Aid and you're going to be on my team now or whatever.
I agree. I agree too.
More, he just puts them under his spell more in the sort of universal Dracula kind of sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Because, because that's kind of what it is. It's like, hey, we're not going to bother to describe why or how he can do this. He just can, and that's kind of the great thing about horror in general is that you ain't really got to explain shit.
We're at 25. So Rawhead is basically just making his way through the forest, and he's getting ready to come upon caravan of small freaking campers.
It's a bunch of pikeys.
They're meant to
They're
be
pikeys.
like Egyptian, or
Gypsies.
like Egyptian, gypsies.
Gypsies?
Don't you think, JoJo?
Actually, gypsy is a bastardization of Egyptian.
Yeah, I didn't want to offend anybody.
So gypsies is correct.
Gypsy is sort of a like bastardization, as far as I know, of the term Egyptian, which is just sort of like a, hey, you're from the east west, I'm not sure, you're one of those weird caravan people. It's one of those things that's just sort of stuck, I think, in general, and that's kind of part of it. But Irish gypsies are like there's a whole culture unto themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically, you're talking about Irish rednecks. I mean,
yeah, for
Irish
sure.
hillbillies. I mean, I'm gonna be real about myself. That's my people. It's us.
Exactly.
Rawhead basically just drug this guy out into the woods to string him up by his heels so he could eat at him. He's yanking at his arm like he's trying to tear off a limb.
That's the thing, is he killed him a while back. That's a dude from, the pregnant, that's the pregnant lady's husband or boyfriend or whatever, and like he's been dragging him for the better part of like a mile or two out into the fucking woods.
We call it tenderizing.
His seasoning. Hey, just real quick, I gotta give props to this old Irish gypsy dude in his caravan. Like,
okay,
it's not until like Rawhead Rex literally upends his caravan that he even spills a drop of his fucking beer, dude.
Oh.
Like, dude's got his
he's asleep.
You wake him up and he's like,
"Oh, that's right, I was drinking."
Hey, do you know anything about Rawhead Rex? He's like, oh, yeah. Oh, he comes around every, half hour and ever whatnot. And then, we just get some, we just put some fried cheese on it. And, he's a character. And then.
When did they become, like, from Wisconsin? Fucking Irish. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to put out some fucking cabbage and some corned beef. You're going to have to put out a pint. You're going to have to put out a pint of Guinness and a shot of whiskey. Otherwise, if you don't, it's like the fucking angel of death comes to your house, like straight out of fucking 10 Commandments, man. The son in this movie, that kid is my fucking hero. That kid dies exactly how he lived, man.
Reading
just
a comic?
Exactly. Chowing down on everything and reading comics, baby. That's the life, man.
He's reading Secret Wars.
Hey, man.
Marvel version of Secret Wars. Do you guys see
I'm all about that.
Do you guys see that scene where Rawhead Rex is just like standing by the road?
Yeah. Hey, he's a scarecrow.
No, that was actual scarecrow, though. That wasn't him standing by the road of it. She makes him back the car up to look at that scarecrow.
Yeah, and they look at it, and then it's like the little girl has to go, and so she goes, and then she screams.
5 minutes away from the hotel.
The dad goes to her while they're like tending to her. That's whenever Rawhead Rex pops out. He kills the son. So
it was a setup.
Yeah, that was a setup.
We're back at the caravan. I just want to say that this is the best dolly shot. The running through the forest of the guy and the girlfriend as they're trying to get away from Rawhead Rex, which Rawhead grabs the guy, tears his arm off, and she's just running. You know that she has the arm of the guy, just trying to get away, and comes into the group of gypsies still holding the hand. It was
holding the arm.
Creepy as shit.
Like, hey, here's my boy. Oh, Jesus. And drops the hand. Yeah. Probably one of the best moments.
I dig that.
Yeah. Easily one of the best moments of the flight.
So back up to us, Jason, so we can talk about this. We're at 35.
I just like when he tries to tip the trailer house over.
He tips it over, but he grabs the girl and starts pulling her through the window. And the other guy grabs her clothes and rips her clothes off so we can have a boob shot.
Moment. Hey, let me help you by tearing your clothes off.
Nudity.
We need some tits in this movie, so sorry, hon.
Yeah.
You're it.
I'm going to try to save you, but it's just going to amount in a TNA shot.
Which is fine. Which is fine.
Yeah, and holding the head. Yeah.
When Rawhead Rex holds the head up of the boyfriend up in the night sky, that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
David Dukes doesn't seem like
he really gives a shit about his family until his kid dies.
He's pretty cool about everything.
Well, like I said, he's pretty chill about just dragging his family all over across, wherever the fuck he wants to go. Well, I noticed they do subtly, it's not reinforced, I think, as much as it could be. There is that sort of, they're the womanly power, the goddess power.
Yes.
Because she keeps having feelings, and then at the very end, she's oh, it took a woman.
You have to be on board with the special effects that they're doing. You know what I mean?
We're watching the little boy get abducted from the van.
He fucking eats him.
Yeah.
All that's left is a shoe.
Yeah. In the span of time it takes him to get across the road.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy earlier, he dragged him for a mile and a half.
No, but a little
whatever.
boy, it's just a snack.
It's like mozzarella sticks as an appetizer.
So does he go to the cops later with a picture of what the boy drew or something? Who shows the picture of Rawhead Rex that was drawn?
I think it's one of the people earlier that was involved in an attack. The young kid in the caravan.
Okay. He's the one that drew.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
They get attacked, and then, the little boy, I think he made it through. He was okay. He's got it on his shirt.
The pastor watching Declan get baptized, he's like, interesting. What's going on out here? If a monster wants to pee on you, let him pee on you.
Yeah, I've been to a Guar show, dude.
He runs back and he's like, oh boy.
The old Irish dude in the caravan, not until the whole damn trailer gets turned over does he fucking spill a drop out of his mug. It's impressive. Well, and then the girl gets pulled out of the window and the guy's like, here, let me help you by tearing off your clothes.
And it helped.
You want to get killed by a monster, or do you want to get killed by a slow virus?
Well, and it's funny, they try to do kind of a Jaws moment there where it's Rawhead Rex is there and he, the guy shoots at him and it doesn't really do anything, so he shoots the propane tank, smile, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
It blows up and then he just gets murdered. Anyway, yeah, good try, I guess.
The only part of this movie that I really enjoying is Declan. His face is just crazy.
We're at the aftermath of Rawhead Rex attacking the gypsies and walking off with the severed head. And just the entire trailer park is just in shambles.
Well, I'll just say one of my favorite bits in this movie is would you like a cup of tea? Go fuck yourself.
See, I dig that the constable and his driver are trying to find Rawhead Rex. They turn around and Rawhead just attacks,
rips the dude right
out the window,
seat. Yeah.
And the other guy finally takes off, only to flip the vehicle over.
It doesn't get far. Rawhead's putting the
he
demonic
has the
whammy.
Eyes.
He puts the demonic whammy on the detective here.
Oh my god!
And he's the one who ends up basically helping Rex burn alive, about a dozen or so cops.
Is that what it is? Is you have to have the demon eyes? That's actually the connection there that possesses the others to do your bidding?
It does seem a bit of a throwback to kind of the Hammer horror, like Dracula style. He puts the evil eye whammy on them.
Yeah.
Now they're under his spell, effectively, and under his influence and control.
Okay, we're just now into where Declan is just baring his chest so Rawhead Rex can piss on him. This is the straightest piss that
he's being baptized
I've ever seen out of any being.
In the book, he's being baptized.
He sticks his head in it. He bends down so he can get total stream into his hair.
Wow. I didn't really catch that. I mean, even in the first, like, I watched this like 2-3 times, and like, I guess I didn't catch that.
There's a guy in Miami.
The Miami Connection?
Miami Connection, that they pour beer on him, and he kind of like helps him. He's like, okay, this is where I want the beer to go.
Well, and something else about the general like powers or like non-powers of Rawhead Rex here is that he doesn't necessarily enter the church, but then he does. It's like, oh, the power of Christ, but then he crushes the cross in Reverend Coote's hand or whatever, and it's like, yeah, your God has no place here.
I want to know here, why did the priest pour kerosene out like Matt Houston did and set everybody on fire?
That's a good question. I don't know.
But then the detective, he goes full on into it and just like burn himself alive as tribute.
He's bowing down to Rawhead.
Yeah. Because, well, I mean, he was possessed by Rex earlier, and so, like, yeah, it sort of follows, and then, he's a true believer. Yeah, he just engulfs himself in flames, is like, here I am, a tribute to you, kind of, yeah.
Give us the full-on Rawhead. Does he have, in the story, does he have the power to possess people through his demon eyes?
He can show up anywhere.
Okay.
The most shocking thing in the movie is that he goes away to...
They stop because his daughter has to use the bathroom or whatever, and so...
She doesn't want to pee because there's a dead rabbit or something.
And so she screams, they go to her, and then while they go to her, then Rawhead Rex eats their son. Yeah.
The dad is caught behind a weird, like, kind of turnstile thing. That is from the book.
The gate. He's trying to get back through the gate.
But basically, he has to watch as, Rawhead Rex.
Okay, he can't get back through the gate, so he's actually watching.
He pulls his son out and basically, like, head first, gnaws on him. It's terrifying.
He doesn't even see what happens to his son. He just sees the aftermath.
He's completely confounded by what happens.
So we're now where Hollenbeck he was having a big fight with Declan in the church, and Declan's just going crazy, just tearing up the whole church. And
so now he comes across the altar, so he realizes he touches it, and, it makes him...
Does he have a fever dream of, like, how to kill?
Well, no, you see, like, anybody who seems to touch the altar in some way, it like, burns their hands.
Them. Okay.
Candlesticks, props it open, and then from that, he's able to understand that, like, oh, what's in here is what you battle Rawhead with.
But how does he get the fact that it needs to be a woman?
See, he doesn't until it doesn't work for him, and then his wife picks it up. That's the whole.
Okay.
That's the whole.
But it's an idol of a pregnant woman, basically, with her abdomen ripped open.
Well, like whenever he first pulls it out, I'm like, what is this fucking misshapen turd that he pulls out? Like,
it's just a turd.
Later on, they do a better shot of it where it does have the old paganistic mother figure.
Okay.
The big hips, the big tits, kind of, you
Big
know.
hips, big tits.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's what we came here for.
Exactly. And it's that sort of classic pagan figure of the mother of the world kind of thing.
I couldn't
Yes.
stop him, but you can kill him. That's what Declan says to Rawhead as he comes up to him asking basically for more piss
I have
in
the
face.
sacred turd.
Oh my God.
It's not really distinguished, you know, as he's holding it, I was like, it's just
What is
like a
that?
giant lump of shit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
He picks up Declan, and Declan wants him to die. Declan just is like, please take me.
Yeah, like I said, kill me, I hope.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he gets really orgasmic with a.
So that's when we get to see the retractable claws more when he starts to go up against Hollenbeck.
He handed off the sacred turd to his wife, and
Wife
she
with
has
the dirty eyes.
She has the super secret dirty eyes, goddess powers. She-Ra!
So after she holds up that idol above her head and starts attacking Rawhead Rex, then we see
Yes.
another figure of the woman in the red cloak.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like this whole end scene, it kind of reminded me very much of the last part of the original Highlander.
Or
Oh.
Poltergeist 2.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
But Rawhead even looks perplexed.
And here you see the stones are glowing.
Right, the headstones.
Like
that
what
we
you were
see.
talking about, like the stones being part of,
The cemetery.
yeah, the mythos.
But he's confused. Rawhead's looking around like,
What's
"Huh?"
happening? What's happening? Oh my gosh, it's like there's somebody who doesn't want me to go around murdering people.
Oh my God.
The freaking idol is really just putting Rawhead in his place, and he's down.
I
And
forgot about
Hollenbeck
Hollenbeck.
decides that he has to help out too. He grabs like a shovel.
They literally only need to do a little bit of gardening.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
But he wanted to be a part of this. He's like, I gotta help now.
I'm going to
My
help.
wife can't do
Yeah,
everything.
fuck, dude.
It's shaking bacon. I helped.
He falls down into a crypt.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I brought it up earlier, but like I did notice that they do sort of a very Frankenstein sort of death ending there, you know, with the monster being
Mhm.
defeated and buried, you know, kind of like the the original Universal Frankenstein with the burning of the windmill, and we get the flowers, and then Rawhead Rex pops back up because he can.
But just leaving it open for a possible...
Yeah, I mean, because you got to.
You have to...
You have to leave it open for a sequel, even in the flimsiest possible sense, especially in the 80s, of course.
So where does Rawhead Rex fit into kind of the Hellraiser realm?
Does he fall into like the Cenobite
No.
type category, or I guess
Nope.
He's not into pleasure and pain. He's just into pain.
So I guess in the Clive Barker mythos, he's there, but he's not in that same sphere.
How often do I have to say shut up?
One more time.
Shut up. Okay. These are short stories, right? From Clive Barker. They were written as a trade comic book. That was in like the early 90s.
Like I brought up a couple times the references to Slain the Horned God comics. Like if they'd kind of gone that way with it, that was something about those that I always sort of appreciated whenever they talk about the berserker phase that he would go into, where like your joints and muscles all like basically contorting and bending the wrong ways, but you were still just like a crazy madman on the battlefield. You just murdered everything.
Pinhead.
Hell Priest.
I guess you could call him the most revered of the kind of alternate, gods or whatever,
He's the host with the mostest.
He's the hostess with the mostest, and
Cthulhu and the Crypt Keeper put together?
Cthulhu. Man, it's fun to say. Cthulhu.
So Rawhead Rex doesn't fall really into the Hellraiser realm.
No.
Is Hellraiser connected to Nightbreed at all?
Yes. I would say yes.
Isn't it safe to say that Rawhead Rex would probably exist in the same general universe as Hellraiser and Nightbreed?
I mean, yeah.
Kind of like, that's a fair assessment too, that like Candyman would be in the same universe essentially as the Hellraiser universe in general, because he's very much like in that same sort of pleasure, pain.
But Rawhead Rex is just into the pain. He doesn't care about the fucking pleasure.
True.
We barely saw boobs.
One shot of gratuitous nudity, really.
They were going to possibly remake Rawhead Rex at one time. I think that's kind of been shelved. Yeah. But there is a possible Nightbreed TV series.
Okay.
A Hellraiser is in possible production right now. And Candyman is getting ready to be re-released, but it's a continuation. It has Tony Todd, and it's written by Jordan Peele. So there's a whole possible resurgence of Clive Barker mythos getting ready to start hitting us.
I'm excited for the Jordan Peele breed of Candyman. I'm excited to see the direction that he goes with that. Like I said, I've never been a huge Clive Barker fan. I've seen some of the Hellraiser flicks, and Nightbreed and whatever over the years.
Clive Barker super fans, they want Candyman. It is like a say his name 3 times and
5 times. You got to go the extra mile from Bloody
Jesus,
Mary.
That seems like it takes a while.
That seems excessive. All right, so let's wrap this episode up. So any last thoughts on Rawhead Rex? Should it have been Dickhead Rex?
I don't know.
I'm, like I said at the beginning, I am kind of curious as to the logistics and locomotion of a giant dick creature with teeth.
Big.
Just what he's trying to say, the shaft.
Yeah.
I mean, well, really, because if you think about it, okay, well, the big giant stone dick from the beginning, what if it had just sort of come to life and gone around with teeth, eating everything in sight?
Okay, we've had this giant tombstone thing.
Just stone dick.
Yeah, it's a big stone dick.
Big giant concrete dong just hanging out in the field for centuries.
Well, that's fine.
I think that's the lesson to be learned here is if you have a giant stone dick been hanging out in your field for centuries, just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone.
Or just tell somebody about it.
What about Stonehenge? Do you think it was actually called Dickhenge? It could have been.
No one knew who they were or
what they were doing.
I think it's more of a circle though, so it could be more of Poohenge or Vag-henge, maybe.
My favorite thing is, and like you guys probably, that scene where Rawhead Rex comes and pulls that boy out of the
van. I love it.
He's reading comic books.
Like I said, kid went out I would love to go out, just stuffing his face and reading comics at every turn. That's the way to go.
All right, so let's end this shenanigans with Rawhead Rex. I consider it a slasher flick.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah,
a little bit of blood, very little nudity.
Yeah,
I know, very light on the nudity, which is a little. It's a little disheartening.
I always want more.
Light on the nudity.
And really kind of light on the blood and gore in this too. And you're only talking there's a kill count of about 22.
That's pretty good, I think.
Not bad, but there is sort of that sort of big gang kill, where all the cops and everything are just burned alive.
Those that may not have been
10 to a dozen killed by Rawhead Rex.
So riddle me this though. So In a kill count for a movie, do you count all the kills or do you count all the kills from the killer?
I would say that, like, really the killer's the motivator for all the kills that happen in the film. I mean, in a sense, all the kills are because of Rawhead Rex.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
If he hadn't come out of the ground from
everybody would
his
still
giant
be alive.
Stone dick pillar
and
wreaked his vengeance.
Eating their haggis. I understand. Well, let's finish this up. Last words on Rawhead Rex?
Corned beef and cabbage.
Corned beef and cabbage? Haggis.
I'm a Guinness.
What do you have, Jason?
What movie did we do again?
Christ.
And that's a wrap. Do we need to start this podcast over?
All right. I'm going to
All right, so welcome to the Moratorium.
It's good to be back here.
Hey, wait a minute.
Hey, wait a second.
Brother.
You got anything else to add, Joe? You going to watch it again?
I don't know. This is definitely one of those ones that I could see the appeal as far as like the cult film feel. You know, it definitely has that sort of cult film appeal to it. And I get that. It's one of those ones that I had never really seen. Now I can
say you've seen it.
I can check that box. Will I come back to it? Maybe. I mean, like I said, it's not Maniac Nurses Find Ecstasy. So, I might give it another chance.
So, Jason, you going to watch Rawhead Rex again tonight?
It's one of my favorite movies ever. So, yeah, I might.
All right.
All I have to say, though, are you guys with me?
Nope, we left.
Come back.
Oh, we're gonna.
Okay, are you there?
We're here. Hey, how you doing, buddy? All right, welcome to the Moratorium. I'm your host.
Well, that'll do. That'll do, donkey.
Let's call it. We can wrap it up and the yarn wall next week.
Rawhead Rex, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed this disgustingly long and drawn out podcast for this extremely weird and twisted Clive Barker rendition of the film.
Say good night.
Good night.
You've been listening to The Moratorium, an MT Cornfield production. For more fun and stupidity, stay tuned. Next week, Jason and I break down this phallic slasher and dive deep into a couple of little-known actors to shed some light on their, well, let's just say, interesting careers. Look for the Moratorium Facebook group to keep up with all sorts of crap that I post about the movies we cover. You can also follow me on Twitter at TCBoogieDown. Again, please like, share, and subscribe, then rinse and repeat. We appreciate your support. If you have any movie suggestions, or just want to tell us how much we really suck, you can contact us at moviemoratorium@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and long live VHS.
He's the hardest working monster in music.